Welcome to Something for the Turbo, the new weekly podcast brought to you by Unfound, the global platform for the travel-loving cyclist. Welcome to another episode of Something for the Turbo. Thank you for joining us again. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe, leave a review, tell all your cycling friends. And if this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Do check out some of our previous episodes if you enjoy this one. We've managed to catch up with some brilliant people from all around the cycling world, so we hope you enjoy it. And as ever, make sure you do spread the word. Also, if you haven't yet got yourself onto the hub, please make sure you check it out. You can either go to unfound.cc or you can download the Unfound app from Google Play or the App Store. You can register for free and network with cyclists from all over the world. You can share rides, articles, photos, stories, ask questions, and do all the other sort of social media-y kind of stuff on there. Anyway, join us. We'd love to see you on there, and we should probably crack on with the show. Today, I caught up with charismatic former pro rider, team manager, top coach, and founder of the innovative SpatzWear, Tom Barras. Tom and I have a really good chat through his racing career, taking on some of the biggest races in the world while living in Belgium, before returning to the UK to race domestically, picking up over 100 wins in the process. He set up a successful coaching career and worked with athletes such as Tom Pidcock, as well as launching SpatzWear. We discuss his unique approach to solving issues and problems to produce their brilliant range of products. Anyway, he's a real character. I really enjoyed this conversation. Talk about all this, plus racing in the Bahamas and loads more. So without further ado, let me bring you Tom. Tom, thank you very much for joining us. How are you getting on? You good?
I'm very well, thank you. A little bit hot, but apart from that, I'm good, thank you.
It's bloody sweaty. I tell you, I lived in Asia for 10 years and don't think I've had as an uncomfortable a night's sleep as I had last night. It was, I'm missing the aircon.
I know we've had a couple of bad nights, and a 13-week-old baby and a 3-year-old thrown in the mix don't help.
13 weeks, blimey.
Yeah,
you're in the danger zone, and 3 as well. How's the 3-year-old getting on?
Well, he's great. I mean, he's great, but he doesn't like sleeping, so we've been up, standard night is up 3 or 4 times in the night with him, and then that's Leo, and then little Grace is 13 weeks, and she's great. She's no trouble, but, she likes to cry in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I bet she does. Oh, fantastic. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's huge.
Well, if it's any consolation, mine are 6 and 4, and they're still not really sleeping through the night. They were up last night, so you've got a few years to go yet. The last thing you want to hear.
I know.
Cool. Well, we should probably crack on. We've got a tremendous amount to chat about today. Should we go back to the beginning and then talk through your background and your racing background, and then come on to Spats and obviously the product you're most well known for, but also some of the new cool things you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool. So you're actually from a cycling background, aren't you?
Yeah,
cycling family.
Cycling family. Yeah, granddad was a bike rider, and then. Yeah, Dad was a pro bike rider for 18 years, multinational champion.
Champ, yeah. Many wins as well, hundreds of wins.
I think 385 pro wins, but
bloody hell,
you might have to Google that. Yeah. No, he won some bike races, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously cycling was in the blood. Were you always destined to race, or?
I certainly wasn't pushed into it.
Okay.
I just, I spent my childhood going to races 2, 3, 4 days a week. In the 80s, the criterium scene was massive that my dad was really prominent in. Certainly, like the Kellogg's Crit Series every year. Yeah. And, my dad was one of the big players in that. And I remember standing week in, week out with my head through the barriers, watching my dad racing. And
brilliant.
It wasn't, I loved it back then, but there wasn't much chance that it was going to be something I was going to pursue.
Yeah.
It's just in the blood from birth.
Well, three generations of it now.
Yeah, but then Mum and Dad were sort of aware that I needed an education, and fortunately they sort of encouraged me to get a decent education first before I threw myself into cycling full whack.
Yeah, that's kind of I suppose when you were coming through it's probably less unusual, or certainly nowadays loads of pros are going straight in from school. They
are, but there's more money about now. It's more lucrative now. But when I was leaving school in sort of 95, 96, to be a pro in the UK, you weren't looking at earning a lot of money.
No.
You had to go abroad, which is what I did.
Yeah.
And, I rode for various teams. And I think the most, I spent 6 years of my life racing out in Belgium. And I think despite the fact they were all UCI teams, I think the most I earned was €200 a month.
Really?
Yeah. So, I'm fortunate that I had my education behind me. So I went to studied industrial design at Loughborough University between 97 and 2000, and that has sort of fallen into place really with Spats.
Okay. Yeah, it all works pretty well. Yeah. So just go back to the race bit. Did you raced while you were at uni, or you went out to Belgium?
I raced. I never missed a bike race all the way through uni, and then I was winning rounds of the under-23 national series in the first and second year, and then the third year I rode for Linda McCartney Pro Cycling Team, which was that was mega. That was really good. Yeah. And I think it kind of kept me on the straight and narrow a little bit, because it let me focus on getting a decent degree and riding my bike rather than just drinking a horrendous amount of beer.
Getting out on the beers, yeah.
Which I did as well, obviously, but it worked really well. So, so as I say, I never missed a bike race through uni. I loved it.
That's brilliant. So you went out to Belgium after uni?
Straight out to Belgium. So I graduated in May of 2000, and then went straight out to Tour of Serbia the week after with Linda McCartney.
Amazing.
Totally unfit. That was a month after. I spent a month working on my dissertation. Didn't touch my bike for a month, and then went straight out. And the first time I'd ridden it was the first stage of the Tour of Serbia. I think I'd had 5 weeks off the bike.
That was,
not the best preparation.
Racing, but that was fun.
Not the best preparation. Learn how to operate in a gruppetto, put it like that.
Yeah. I spent my whole racing life in a gruppetto. But so talk us about, you were living in Belgium then, so you actually moved out there.
So 2000 with Linda McCartney, that was the under-23 team. And then I did a stagiaire with them, like a trial period with them, with the pro team back end of 2000. Yeah. And then I was going to graduate to the pro team for the start of 2001, which was then, I think, Linda McCartney Jacobs Creek Jaguar, which was going to be a big British-based but international pro team, which was the dream.
Yeah.
And it just fell apart. It just fell apart in January 2001, and I was left with nothing. So I picked up the phone and rang a friend of mine now, I didn't really know him at the time, but ex-national pro champ guy called Tim Harris. And I just rang him up out of the blue and said, look, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. I want teams falling apart and I want to come and try and be a pro bike rider in Belgium. Can you help me out? He put me in contact with a guy called Gilbert de Weert, who was running an Australian team living in Belgium called Team Down Under.
Okay.
And he put me in touch with him. And that was it. The next thing I knew, sort of February 2001, I drove out to Belgium in my 20-year-old car and a bag. The usual story, not much money in my pocket. And that was it. I tried to make it as a pro. And I ended up riding for that same team through its various guises until 2006.
And what was that like? I mean, how was your French and your Flemish? Was it non-existent at the time?
It was non-existent when I went there. French is still non-existent despite studying it at school.
Yeah.
And then I can sort of get by with a little bit of Flemish and Dutch. But I absolutely loved it out there. I mean, it was 6 brilliant years.
Great experience, right?
Loved it. I wouldn't change it for the world. I just gave everything into trying to be a pro bike rider.
Hard at times as well, I imagine.
It's very, very hard. Yeah, I think, I think people now are only sort of really realising the effect it has on your mental health. I think back then you just had to be hard. You saw yourself as it was like this baptism of fire, and you just had to be tough and not crack.
Yeah, I suppose that mental health awareness wasn't really.
It wasn't a thing. It wasn't a thing.
No, it wasn't a thing. Yeah,
it wasn't. I remember riding races with the best riders in the world, and just thinking, Jesus, this is you might be in the back echelon in Ronde van Drenthe or something like that, thinking this is serious. How this is tough.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world, and I think that mental toughness is something that gets you through other stages of your life.
Yeah, well, come on. I'm sure it's helped you a lot with the business as well. But in terms of your time there, what were your sort of happiest memories, best races, and any stick out?
One of what a really sort of prominent memory was the Tour of Qinghai Lake in 2004 or 5, obviously in China, which is at the time I think it was the 4th richest race in the world behind the Grand Tours. I think Conego won it one year, which kind of shows how hard it is. I can't remember, this a long time ago. It was something like 2 weeks long, 10 days or 2 weeks long, and it was just ridiculously hard, but a ridiculously high level race. And I just remember it was, I look back at it with fond memories, but I remember starting a stage at 2,000 meters and just climbing to the finish. So at the finish, coming from Belgium, we just couldn't breathe.
Yeah, it's pretty high up there. Yeah, pretty amazing, beautiful part of the world, right?
Beautiful part of the world, yeah. But a lot of it was, things that a lad from Keighley and then living in Belgium had never seen before.
Yeah, no, I can well imagine. But he saw some sights over there.
He certainly did.
Very good. And what about sort of the riders that you raced against and with? Anyone that sort of stood out as sort of next level talent?
I think the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, sort of performance-wise, was Jens Voigt. When he was at CSC, we rode a race called TEAG Hainle in Germany, and it was about 3 or 4 weeks after the Tour.
Yeah,
and it was like a typical. I mean, we were UCI Conti team. I think we were either DFL or Cycling News then, something like that, or DFL Cycling News. The team was called. So we were like one of the smaller teams riding against the likes of Rabobank and CSC and everyone.
Yeah, amazing.
And I remember it was a typical pro race, so it would be something like 150k out and back, and then 5 or 10 small laps of the finish in town. And I remember being on this climb next to Jens Voigt with a couple of laps to go, thinking, "Wow, this is cool."
Yeah.
And he just banged it in the big ring, just kind of next to me, maybe 20th, 30th wheel, rode up the side of the bunch, and just rode away and won solo by 30 seconds. And I remember thinking, Jesus, this is serious. That's how good. That's the difference between a professional rider and a Tour stage winning absolute top pro.
Yeah. Class above. Yeah. So in 2006, did you come back to the UK then? Am I right in saying?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I had another stagiaire when I was out there with Palman's Colstrop, which went on to then be Vacances Soleil, and then now it's Wanty Group, Gobert. I was a stagiaire with them, and that was kind of the nearest I got to then being, fully fledged professional.
Yeah.
And it was touch and go. They kind of offered me a contract, and then they didn't. I was thinking, am I going to get a ride here? And then in the end, I didn't. And I was like, right, I can't progress anymore here. I'm giving this everything. I think at the time I was about 27, and I dedicated 6 years of my life to this project on, very little money. I was funding my so-called pro career by building websites all the way through.
I read that, yeah.
So in the time my teammates were, on whatever social media it was back then, I was building websites for companies.
Amazing.
I had quite a meagre but fun existence. I had a girlfriend at the time who then went on to be my wife, Olivia.
Okay.
She came out and lived with me for a period in that last year, and I just decided that was it. I'd gone as far as I could go, and it was time to come home and kind of start a more of a normal life.
And that's when the idea of Spats first came around, was it? When you got back?
The idea of Spats probably came about maybe 2004, 2005, when I was training in the UK in the winter. So I was going back to my mum and dad's in Keighley.
Yeah.
And again, I was funding my cycling career by working at an online bike shop in Keighley. So I was working 3 days a week. So the 4 days of the week I had to train, I felt like I had to go and do 5.5 or 6 hours in the day, which I was doing religiously, just to try and improve.
Yeah.
But if you've only got 3 or 4 days a week to train, you can't let the weather beat you. You've got to go and do it.
Rain or shine.
And I was going out over like Fleet Moss and Tatum Fell and the Nick of Pendle and all these big climbs in the north and just getting it done. But I remember having to cut rides short because my feet were just too cold.
Yeah.
And I'm sat staring at my front wheel, just kicking water up at my shins. And I thought, Jesus, like, it isn't my feet that are the problem here. It's the water coming off my front wheel, mudguard or no mudguard, hitting my feet and my shins. The water's going down my tights, regardless of what overshoes I've got on, into my tights, down into my socks and shoes, and everything's cold. So I was using carrier bags and bits of rubber,
tinfoil,
cling film, tinfoil, anything I could to keep my feet warm, and it just wasn't working. So I did some drawings, got my pencils out and did some drawings, that I hadn't done since I'd graduated.
Yeah.
I had this idea, and I made some prototypes out of motorbike inner tubes. They just weren't very good because the materials. This is 2005, 2006. The materials just weren't really there.
Yeah.
But I still had the drawings, and then so that kind of just went on the back burner. I didn't really show anyone them, which is good.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was like the seed.
I didn't realise. And then you sort of parked it, or you just sort of kept thinking about it over the next few years? Yeah.
Parked it up, started a website business in start of 2007, thinking, right, this is what I'm going to go into.
Yeah.
Started coaching some riders as well, hence my coaching company now. And then, put the overshoes to bed really for a while. And then just focused on building websites, trying to make a career in web design. And then I got the bug racing again. So 2007, I started racing for a team called Merlin Titanium Bikes.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
And they said, will you come and ride for us? And I was thinking, I've kind of had enough of this. I've dedicated my life forever to this, but I'll give it a go. And then April, May, I started winning, which was new to me because I hadn't won in Belgium. The best I had in Belgium was a third in a interclub. Well, a national, what was it? Elite. I can't remember what it was. It was ones above a kermesse that are 140 k's long. Okay. And that's the nearest. I remember Jeffrey De Meyer won it, and I was nearly beat him. I just couldn't beat him, but that would have been my win. So I'd never won in Belgium.
Wow. Okay.
So then to come back and win straight away in England, it sort of reignited the fire in me.
Yeah.
And I started loving cycling again, and that, that's
why not? I mean, I didn't realise you
absolutely.
hadn't won.
Absolutely. I mean, I was training hard, but it wasn't the focus, and maybe that helped.
I was going to say, do you think it took the pressure off yourself a little bit?
So, yeah, because it wasn't the focus. I was just training. I was doing things like a couple of hours in the morning, working all afternoon, and then going on the chain gang. And then I was occasionally, every now and again, I was winning. So then 2008, I got a ride with Plowman Craven Professional Cycling, which was brilliant. And that was it. I was then a paid professional, which was mega.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting way around, sort of random path to getting to your professional contract.
It is. But all this time, I'd never been a full-time rider. I'd always funded it with web design and then coaching. And I think that's stood me in good stead. And I think that's something that a lot of young riders get wrong.
Yeah, having that outside focus. I think Janto mentioned that as well when I had him on here, having that sort of his second career, I suppose.
Exactly. Well, there's a lot of crossover between me and Janto, right back from Belgium.
Yeah, I was going to say, you guys must have raced and come through.
Yeah, well, we did. I mean, I've known Janto years. And I actually built LeCol.net originally with Janto, right at the start,
It's a small world.
Before he took over the world.
Yeah, there you go. Now, I just thought there, we sort of briefly sort of introduced Spats, but for those people further afield who might not have come across the product, tell us a little bit about it and what makes them different and articulate how they are different. I mean,
the Spats overshoes.
Yeah, start with the overshoes, yeah.
Okay, it's a very flexible neoprene overshoe, which sits very, very closely against your shoe, ankle, but then fundamentally right up to your knee. So the key with this is, let's say in the middle of winter, when your radiators start freezing, what do? You lag your pipes. You keep the pipes warm, right? If you insulate your pipes, your radiators won't freeze. And the same goes for your feet and your hands. If you keep the blood vessels and the blood flow warm in your lower limbs, your feet will stay warm. That's just a fact. Because all the heat is coming out through your calves. That's where the blood, I mean, if you look at your legs, there's veins all down the outside of your legs.
Yeah, of course.
So that's key to the design of the Spats. But also, going back to what I said about the initial design, when you're cycling, not only is the cold wind hitting your shins constantly, but so is all the water from the spray off your front wheel.
Yeah.
So it's kind of threefold. And I'm just absolutely shocked that no one had done this before. Hence why it took me I started looking at this at 2016 properly, and I spent a lot of time and money looking at IP, and still do, just to make sure that the design's protected. Yeah,
and it is, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and you can see there's various brands have gone near.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go into the detail, but without, stepping on my toes, if you'll pardon the pun, there's certain things they can't do.
Yeah.
And we work very closely with a patent attorney to make sure that everything's done properly. And this isn't just for the overshoes, this is all the way through.
All the way through the range, yeah.
All the way through the range, yeah.
Well, let's go on to that. I mean, for those of you listening who ride anywhere in wet weather and cold weather, because you've got various heights of Spats as well, haven't you? Different versions. I famously like to be totally agnostic with regards to brand and everything on the platform, on the podcast. But having moved back to the UK, I was mostly worried about riding in the winter for the first time in a decade, and I invested in some Spats, and they are absolutely brilliant piece of kit. They really are fantastic.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, no, they are fantastic. I absolutely love them, actually. I'm a huge fan.
That's good to hear. The first one we did, the original Spats Pro, I've got various pairs of these and samples as well. If you put it on now, 4 years on, it's still a really good product. But the new ones, I mean, we're on to like iteration 5 of these now. The new ones are just next level. So we've another one coming out in November, which is just blows everything out of the water again.
Oh, really? What, you tweaked the design, have you? We
tweaked the design. So we've got the Pro. We had the Pro.
Yeah.
And that's now kind of gone.
Okay.
We've got the Pro 2, which is a current product, which is fully fleece insulated, armoured neoprene, Kevlar down the inside. That's like our flagship model.
Yeah.
We've then the Roadman, which is more of a nod to commuters. So really reflective, 3M reflective coating all the way around, really well sealed from the rain all around your foot, and thermal in the shin only. And then we've got the legals, which is what you touched on, which is the version which is UCI legal for racing. Because they're just the taller ones are just too aerodynamic to be race legal.
Blimey, can you hear that? That's thunder. Do you get that?
Is it? Where are you sat now?
I've sat down in London.
Right.
That's a massive strike of lightning. Yeah, awesome. And I know that they've been hugely successful, right? You're selling them all around the world. And a number of the pros are swearing by them as well, aren't they?
Yes. I think the pro thing gave us a real head start. And I think the first guy to really get behind it was Mark Cavendish.
Was he? Okay, yeah.
And he just sent me a picture of him racing in them at Dimension Data. And he sent me a text just saying, Tom, this is the best garment ever used. Ever developed since the Castelli Gabba.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that just blew me away.
Yeah, and everyone's been wearing them since, right? I saw in Harrogate, everyone was wearing them, it seemed.
Everyone's wearing it. I mean, it's brilliant. The thing is that the pros, you know, if a top pro comes to me and says, can I have some overshoes? Yeah, sure, of course you can. Yeah. But like the likes of Van Avermaet are buying them. Yeah. So people keep tagging me. Yeah, they're buying them. People keep tagging me in the straight, like, if a team goes and does a recce of Flanders or Roubaix, like CCC or Quick Step, I get tagged in pictures, and all my heroes are wearing them.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? I actually thought you might sponsor the Belgian team.
No, not at all.
Guys up there.
They're all wearing them. I know. I mean, I've got videos and pictures of all the top guys wearing them. Yeah, it's mega. It's absolutely brilliant. I mean, I'm very proud of that because that's what I developed them for. But if someone like Van Avermaet or Yves Lampard or, the list just goes on and on. John Degenkolb, Jasper Stuyven, they're all training them and they're not hiding it.
Great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
brilliant. Super proud, obviously you've had a great career as winning over 100 races. You raced across Europe, but also going back to your degree, right? It's all sort of come across, all come together beautifully.
It's strange, really. Yeah, it's strange how what I'm doing now has been kind of influenced by what all the things that I've done. So even the coaching, the coaching is my income really. I don't take a lot out of Spats.
Okay.
But I operate and train and ride with a group of top pro riders, which I have to do if I'm going to keep my finger on the pulse of, clothing technology and fabrics, but also the training.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's I was talking about it today actually. Everything that I've done, even some of the jobs I've done that weren't particularly glamorous, like when I worked at the online bike shop in Keighley, it was called Expedia. This is sort of 2001 and 2, one of the first big online stores. And I was packing boxes and taking credit card details and listing products on the internet. And that's just what I do now.
Yes, it's relevant, right? Yeah.
It's really relevant. And just learning how to speak to customers, that wasn't a glamorous job as much as I enjoyed it. I was just I started off as the lad in the back packing the boxes.
Yeah, amazing. That's pretty cool. I love it. So obviously Spats has been a massive success, and as you just mentioned, sort of pros from around the world have been using them and loving them. We'll put all the details obviously in the show notes, but you ship worldwide for everyone that wants to
We ship worldwide from our website, SpatzWear.com.
Yep.
But we sell to retail in the UK.
Okay.
We've got some really good retailers. I won't mention any of them in case I miss any out. But with some real top end British retailers. But then we have distribution all over the world. So we've got Denmark, Sweden, Benelux, France, Norway, Australia now, Germany. Yeah, it's growing really, really fast. So they're all these are our sort of tentacles sort of spreading out over the world. And we've just arranged to a distributor in Australia and New Zealand, which is brilliant.
Amazing. What about the US? Have you got anyone in the US yet?
We're speaking to a couple in the US.
Yeah.
The US obviously is challenging.
Yeah.
And it's whether you say, right, we're going to go to a distributor.
Yeah.
Whether we're going to go to a big retailer that covers the whole nation, or whether we're going to take on agents.
Of course, yeah. The
problem then is, do you employ people? Do you do it on a contract basis? It's all quite complicated.
Yeah.
But the first distributor we went to was Conimex in Belgium, that cover all of Benelux, and the success was just amazing.
Yeah.
because obviously out there they just get cycling and everyone wants to ride in the cold and the rain, and this it just fit Benelux treat. It's what they're built for. It's what they're built for, exactly. And also with me living there, it's it's where I saw my products as much as in the UK.
Yeah, it's where you dreamt them up, right? Yeah,
it's where I dreamt them up. It's where, so it's it. And so then we use the Conimex Benelux distributor as the model for the other distributors. So then we went to Denmark, found one in Denmark, then went to France, and it just goes on and on. But you've got to find the right people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
and it's got to be people who are cyclists through and through, because they've got to get the product,
understand it,
and they've got to be able to describe the product. If you walk into a shop and say, "I do want to buy some overshoes," no one's going to be that keen. But if you're showing them pictures of the absolute best riders in the world choosing to wear them in the top races in the world and in recce's of Paris-Roubaix, you just go, right, yeah, this is it. This is serious.
Yeah, I mean, they are a game-changing piece of kit. In fact, I had someone from Norway on last week, and I actually was thinking about your products because. From going from the overshoe, you've actually branched out to a few other things, including gloves, haven't you? What came after the overshoe?
Well, 2017 was year one, and that was just the pro overshoe. Yeah. Year two was we introduced the Bases base layer, which again is something I can't believe no one's done before. Can't believe no one's done a cycling base layer with a drop rear, high front, thumb loops, high neck, and fabric that traps air. Can't believe no one's done it. So the Bases was product number 2, and then we introduced the Legals overshoe and the Roadman overshoe. So we went from 1 to 4 products. Yeah. Then year 3 we went up to 8 or 9.
Fantastic.
And then year 4 now we're going from I think 8 or 9 up to 16 or 17, depending on whether I can get the design absolutely right on the last 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Takes a while.
So obviously getting the design right, and has COVID affected sort of supply?
Yes, it did slow us down, but we were very fortunate that the batches that we had on order we weren't absolutely desperate for.
Okay, phew.
So we were a little bit concerned. Is COVID going to, April this year we were thinking, right, is this going to kill us off? Are people going to not ride bikes? Are they going to not buy overshoes and extreme weather cycling clothes? And fortunately, quite the opposite happened, and people needed our kit to be able to ride to work.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So the people who were going to work in the car 20 miles away were actually going and spending $1,000 on a bike on the ride to work scheme, and then they were buying overshoes and gloves.
Yeah, of course.
And then so we've a glove in the line now, which is something that no one's really done before. We call it the gloves, and it's got a little wind stopping layer that folds out of the top of the glove to make your 4-finger gloves into a 2-finger glove, like a lobster claw.
A lobster. See, that's what Hans was talking to me about yesterday. He's obviously, because I think they'll ride into sort of minus 16 in the winter for those guys.
Right.
Yeah. So they have these. That's what he was telling me about. So yours is 5 fingers, and then it has a bit over the top.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a 5-finger. We marketed it as a race glove because I was just sick and tired of riding in gloves that they're either thin and tactile and felt great and they were cold.
Yeah.
Or they were warm, but you had no kind of feel on the bars and the brakes and the shifters. They were like wearing a pair of gloves.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've developed a really thin, grippy, tactile glove with loads of dexterity that you could start a race in or a training ride in, and then when it gets really cold, if it starts to rain, you can pull this extra layer out from over the top of your hand. You don't know it's there; it just folds away. Pull it out and over your fingers, and you've got an extra wind-stopping layer. But it also keeps your 2 fingers together for warmth.
Yeah, which gives you the warmth. That's genius.
Yeah. So they're the Spats gloves. We launched those last year. They've been a real success for us. Yeah. And then we've 2 more versions coming this winter of those. So another 2 versions are coming in a month.
Okay. And how do the versions differ? They do like different warmth levels, or
exactly. So that one I've just described is the race glove.
Okay.
And then we've done an iteration of that. We've kind of developed that into a deep winter glove.
Excellent. So everyone who's listening in Norway and Scandinavia for the winter.
Perfect for that. Perfect for that. Exactly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then we've done a rain glove as well, so that's just specifically cold, rainy days.
Yeah, amazing. And then there's no excuse not to ride, right? I suppose, and that's your whole mantra.
That's exactly it. It's raining, we're training.
It's raining, we're training. I like that. Very good. Very good. And what's the plan? Obviously, from 8 to 16 products, that's a massive jump up. What's the plan sort of going into 2021, 22, 23? Where do you see things going?
I think we just have to keep momentum.
Yeah.
And I have to just keep a cool head, because it's, from someone, I was managing a cycling team in 2015.
Yeah. General manager, right? Yeah.
I was managing DS in NFTO.
Yeah.
In 2015. Sorry, 16. 16. I retired from NFTO cycling as a rider in 2015, and then I managed the team in 2016, which was bigger. And then that went under when the sponsors pull out at the start of 2017.
I remember, yeah.
And that's when Spats started. So that's when I got the drawings out and went, right. So at that time, so January the 1st, 2017, I had no income and the pregnant wife and the mortgage and 3 cats at the time, 2 cars, and it was like, what am I going to do now? And I got the drawings out, went down to Leeds Market, bought a sewing machine, bought a load of neoprene, and just cracked on. That was it. And it started from that day.
I love that. So it wasn't, I thought it was sort of, you finished up and now's the opportunity to do
Not
it.
at all.
It was done out of necessity.
It was done out of necessity. And that's one of the strap lines on our website, like everything's done out of necessity. So the overshoes were a necessity, the gloves were a necessity, the base layers were a necessity, but actually doing Spats was a necessity because I needed the next chapter of my life.
Yeah.
I'd run the guts out of cycling. When I retired, I was 37 at NFTO, and I managed to win 1 race, and I helped the lads out a lot. I had a brilliant time, but I wasn't getting. It was clear that I wasn't recovering between races. I was getting old.
Yeah, was that what it is? The recovery was the key thing, rather than the
recovery. I think the thing is, when you're in your 20s, you can go and race really hard on a Sunday, and then you might rest on Monday, but Tuesday you're ready to go again.
Back on it,
You're back on it, so you can go and train really hard on a Tuesday. When you're 37, or when I was 37, I could go and race all right on a Sunday, and I might be a useful team rider, or I might even win on my day.
Yeah.
But Tuesday, I was still fatigued.
Still buggered. Yeah, and you had a little one then.
So then you train on Wednesday, you train hard Wednesday, but then Thursday you think, well, if I train hard again, am I going to be knackered for Sunday again?
Yeah.
So then it's a spiral of kind of getting less fit.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So, but then, with the coaching now, it's really interesting how different people respond and how you can treat older athletes differently.
Yeah, so tell us about the coaching business. Obviously, you set that up at the same time you sort of kick Spats. Got going with Spats. But how's that work? We can put the details in the show notes as well. People can get in contact with you. But talk us through some of the athletes you're working with, what kind of level, how it works.
The coaching started unofficially in maybe 2000, 2001 when I was really into my training. And logging training is heart rate back then. And other riders were asking me to coach them. Just sort of unofficially, and I was helping other riders out, and it just grew from that. And then 2007, I started training pro.co.uk. That's my training coaching website. Went and did a qualification in it, and then so that's kind of pays the mortgage. And I really, really enjoy the coaching. I coached maybe half of the NFTO pro cycling team. I have a good number of clients now. Really enjoy seeing them improve. I really enjoy dealing with different people with different challenges. I think the most famous client of mine was Tom Pidcock up until very recently. He's kind of my star rider as well as a good number of the domestic pros. I coached Tom through to his World Championship success last year. So that's the dream really for a coach.
Yeah, well, it must be so. I mean, it must be super satisfying.
Mega satisfying. Well, the thing is with Tom, I've known him years, and I coached his dad for years. But his dad just came to me maybe 3 or 4 years ago and said, "Look, Tom needs some guidance. Can you coach him?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but what can you do? This is like the prodigal son."
So you knew then that he was sort of next level.
We knew because he was winning. He was winning. He was kind of winning when he wants to. Yeah. But the thing with Tom is he was world under 23 time trial champion, I think, at sort of 55 kilograms. And he can win a mountain stage, he can win a cyclocross race, he can win a time trial, he can win a cobbled race. He can win a mountain bike race. So it was a lot of pressure on me because I had to keep him on this trajectory and hopefully improve that trajectory.
It's just staggering versus.
It's staggering. It's absolutely staggering because I then got the challenge of, right, how do I push him enough so that he improves, give him enough sort of stimulation that he improves without him absolutely cracking physically or mentally and just being someone who doesn't improve past 21. You've got to give him enough of a stimulus to improve.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then luckily, there's a lot of judgment involved, and there was his team manager, Kurt, involved, keeping an eye on what we were doing. But everything he wanted to win, he won.
Yeah.
And he'd ring me saying, I'm not sure about this. I'm feeling a bit tired or got a bit of a tickly throat. And I'd say, right, do this, and this. Go into it with some confidence, whatever, get a good warm up, the normal stuff. You know you can do this. Bit of a pep talk. Next day he goes and wins the Worlds or the European Championships or whatever it is he wants to win.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But he's a human being.
Of course.
He has his doubts and he gets tired and like everyone else. But I think the thing with him is he can just absorb training.
I was just going to say to you, he absorbs training and he's a good listener. I think that's key as well, right?
He's a bright lad.
Yeah.
And he's a good listener, yeah. And he can take on information, process it and go and do the work, which some people perhaps at his age can't. So there's a massive amount of maturity there.
Yeah. Wanting to learn as well. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I suppose the world says oyster. So exciting to watch him over the next few years. But where do you see him going, and do you see him sort of specialising in one area down the line? Or?
Honest answer, that's going to be a question that only Tom knows. The difficulty with him is he's so good at everything.
Yeah.
So he could potentially be an Alaphilippe style rider.
Yeah.
No, he can do whatever he wants. He can win mountain stages.
Yeah,
but he can win a bunch sprint. He wins bunch sprints. He wins criteriums in bunch sprints.
Yeah,
it's just he's phenomenal. I mean, he won the British Pro Crit Champs when he was a junior. That finished up a cobble climb and then a 90-degree left-hand turn, and he hit them at the bottom. This is in Sheffield. He hit them at the bottom of the cobble climb, smashed it up the climb, nailed the last corner, and no one could get near him. And he's beaten the likes of John Mould, Harry Tanfield, Bibby McAvoy, Tobin Horton. They're the best crit riders in the world.
Yeah. God, I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it's so great for the sport seeing like Tom and Matthew van der Poel and Wout van Aert and sort of cross-discipline approach into the roadside as well. I think it's great for the development of the sport as a whole as well.
Exactly. Exciting times.
Yeah, super exciting times. We got sidetracked, didn't we? So we were sort of saying what's next for Spats.
What's next for Spats?
Yeah.
What's next is I'm ridiculously busy.
Yeah.
So we're quite a lean team. I do most of the legwork. I do the ideas, the design, the development, the testing. I work with the factories. I work with the retailers. I do all the sampling. That's kind of my thing. Yeah. And then we have a full-time sales consultant now, Jakob, who we brought in maybe 6 months ago. He does the sales side of things, which is great for me. It lets me focus. And then we've Alistair and Ivan, who are my business partners. So between the 5 of us, and in addition to Jack and Bill, who do some of our admin, that's it. So we're quite a lean team.
Yeah.
Because we're so lean, I have to take on a lot of the workload. Yeah. And I just have to keep a cool head and be able to carry on designing and developing products that are revolutionary, because that's what people expect from us now.
Yeah.
So I've got maybe 20 more ideas up my sleeve.
Really? Amazing.
I really enjoy doing it. I love developing the kit, and I can't believe that other brands haven't thought of this before.
Yeah.
So the idea is, if we manage to get up to 18 and 19 SKUs by September, which is doable, we'll then go for growth again the following year. But I don't take that for granted.
Yeah.
If you have a product that's just a lemon, it would knock you back because people lose faith in you.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you've got this association with sort of different products that work extremely well. You don't want to sort of drop the ball.
Exactly.
That's a bit of pressure, though. It's a bit of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. Yeah, but the thing is, there's a massive amount of pressure. Yeah. But, and I've got no safety net. I started this. I'm, in my own house here, kids downstairs, wife downstairs. There's no safety net, but this is what I want to do. And I'm determined to make it work. I've got the support of my partners. We've got a really nice team working together, but we've got to make it work. But it's really exciting, and as far as I can see, it will work.
Yeah, amazing. Well, yeah, it's just no hiding. It's great.
There's no hiding. There's no hiding. But the products have to be revolutionary, and that's how we sell ourselves. But we've just brought out 2 summer products, which was a bit of a change for us.
Okay.
So we did the socks. We did the Spats socks.
Yes.
Which are some socks that I thought someone should have done years ago. So silicone grippers on the sole, just to help the junction between rider and shoe. Yeah. Also, you don't slip over in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then just a nice long sock. So 3 centimeters longer than normal. Nice design. Wicking high quality yarns. That's the sock. And then the cooler base layer, which is a summer/indoor base layer, and that was launched a month ago.
Okay. And so that's gone down well? People are enjoying that?
It's gone down really well. Yeah, it's gone down really well. Yeah. They're our first kind of look into the summer market, try and keep the revenue coming in 12 months a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say that must be a challenge.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, at the moment, we've been very winter heavy with the income, which has been good because it lets me develop the new kit in the summer, but we need income. Now we're kind of paying more people.
Year round, yeah.
We need income in the summer. So the cooler base layer and the socks are helping with that. And then I launched the Burner Gilet a week ago, which is, I think, my favourite product to date.
Which one was that one? Sorry,
It's the Burner Gilet. It's a seamless gilet, yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
So that's brand new as from last week. And I think we had a small batch of 100 land, and then we've a batch of 500 lands tomorrow.
Oh, fantastic. So what are they? They are sort of windproof.
It is.
What makes it different?
It's a fully seamless construction. So by that, I mean it's made on a tubular machine, like a pair of socks or a pair of tights would be.
So like a hosier's.
So it's woven, exactly. So it's a woven product, a little bit like our base layer.
Yeah.
Because of that style of manufacture, we can put an awful lot of detail into the weave. So we can choose the yarns, we can choose how thick it is, certain panels, we can give certain areas different amounts of warmth, stretch, wind resistance, compression. So it's a mega aero fit, really, really close fitting, but it's stretchy enough to stretch over your pockets. And then we've put a wind stopping layer on the chest.
Superb. And that's kind of a sort of 3 season.
3 to 4 season garment. Yeah. And I've worn it today as a sleeveless jersey.
Yeah. Okay, have you?
Yeah,
get the arms out.
Yeah, exactly. I've had the guns out. Sun's out, guns out. I've had the guns out. I've had some stupid big sunglasses on.
Happy days.
Happy days. And yeah, so it's gone. It's always nerve-wracking when you launch a new product, but I think
that's tomorrow. So that's coming out tomorrow. The Burner
we launched it a week ago.
Yeah,
and then the first bulk batch is landing tomorrow.
Okay. Oh, hang on. We're publishing this tomorrow. So today, it's out today.
It's out today.
Go buy it. Go and have a look. Go buy
it. Get your PayPals and your Apple Pays out.
get it sorted. And,
get it sorted.
Obviously, you got all these new products coming out, and they start as a sketch or an idea from you. Is it still really exciting when you get the final product to try out for the first time?
It's really exciting. I have samples landing most days.
Do you?
Yeah.
That must be a massive thrill. Yeah,
it is a thrill, but I had a parcel arrive yesterday, and I've got to be careful here not to upset the family, but I had a parcel at DHL, and I opened it. It's a new product. Can't tell you what it is, but the sample was just rubbish. And your heart just sinks.
Yeah.
All right, look, it needs more work. But, I mean, you've got to go through this process to get it right. I mean, I think the overshoe is something like 30 or 40 samples to get it right.
Really?
Yeah, because you've got to...
Striving for perfection, I suppose.
You've got to put something on that hugs your ankles, hugs your calf and shoes, but is waterproof, doesn't drop down, can get it over your ankles. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like the way you're taking a slightly different approach. I mean, I think like apparel, and I'm not sort of bibs and tops, but just generally accessories and apparel. So much of it's white labeled and it's kind of mass produced, and
it is.
I really like how you're giving proper design, a real thought behind the products you're doing, and that's not what everyone else is just a design game, isn't it? Put different colours.
I think if we wanted to just have a clothing company, we could probably make more money doing jerseys and shorts. I imagine. Yeah. I guess. I don't know. But that wouldn't excite me. It wouldn't excite Ivan or Alistair either. We like developing revolutionary products that no one's seen before.
Yeah.
And I like wearing it out on. We have a training ride called the Buckden Run. It goes from Leeds up to Buckden in North Yorkshire. It's like 5 hours door to door, and I like wearing it wearing the new kit in November, December, and that, and getting back thinking, wow, this is not cold here. This is the next thing. This is it.
And I bet he made it.
We've developed it, yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to go. And then you think, right, but everything, every little success like that brings up the problems of, right, can we protect it? Can someone else pinch it? Who's going to make it? Can we raise the investment? That's the other one. Yeah.
So is that something you're doing at the moment or in the process of, or are you always looking for investors?
I'm open to conversations between the three of us. Alistair, Ivan and myself, we're very content at the moment. We're very happy with the growth. We are at the moment, everything we've bought, all the batches we've bought for this coming season, we've bought organically, as in there's been no financial input.
Yeah.
We've done purely from sales revenue from last year, which is great. There'll come a point where we need more money in the bank, and that'll be a conversation between the three of us.
Yeah. Well, if anyone's listening, we'll put your email in.
Yeah, I mean, we're certainly always open to conversations. Yeah. We are we're very ambitious. What we don't want to do is lose our creativity.
Yeah, your uniqueness as well, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Just become an other brand that bangs out, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Because I like being able to visit the factory and say, look, what's this yarn? And they say, oh, that's Cool Max. Well, why aren't we using that? Oh, well, it's expensive. All right, we'll make a sample out of Cool Max. You try it on. This is the cooler base layer. And you go, wow, this is the best base layer I've worn in 20 years. Why has no one else done this? Oh, well, the yarn's quite expensive. How expensive?
It's expensive. Yeah.
It's an expensive yarn, but we're not using a lot of it. It's a perforated product, but using that Cool Max yarn makes the product 10 times better. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then there's a challenge of, well, you can't print on it a certain way. Well, we'll print on it another way.
Yeah, we don't need to sublimate on it or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting part.
But most, and as I mentioned before, 99% of the industry doesn't think that way. It's kind of like, okay, what can we do as cheaply as possible and sell for as much as possible? So it's refreshing, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. So you mentioned you're still managing to ride?
Through lockdown, I've been averaging 4 to 4.5 hours a week, which is nowhere near as much as I'd like to do. It just keeps my footing with the local pro riders, sort of fitness-wise, but also, like I say, I need to try and, I've got to keep on the cutting edge of cycling and cycle clothing technology, but also the training, and it's good to mix with those lads.
It's good for the mind as well.
Say that again?
It's good for the mind as well.
It's good for the mind. Well, I would just crack up. I'm a competitive animal.
Yeah.
But a typical ride for us, Tuesday morning, we meet up. I do an hour 20 on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Meet 10 minutes from home, and we do what we call the hour of power. This is where my videos come from on Instagram.
Yeah.
We meet up, and this might be both Brownlee brothers, SpatzWear, it's Tom Pidcock, et cetera, et cetera. It's like the who's who of bike riding and triathlon around here. And we do a through and off session for 60 minutes. And that 60 minutes through lockdown we're starting off, still doing the same loops. We do 2 different loops, but we're doing it a minute apart. We weren't going anywhere near each other. And you just try to set off first, I'm the slowest. And then, 20 minutes in, one of the Brownlees catches me. And then it's brilliant. Where else can you do that in life?
No,
it's like
exactly.
Kick about with David Beckham.
Yeah, exactly. It is, isn't it? Right?
It is. But it keeps me fit. Everything's logged on Strava, and these lads are doing, because we're all competitive animals. Like I think Alistair on this hour loop, he can catch me for 6 minutes. Right, wow. That shows the level. I'm a reasonable 42-year-old. He's the Olympic champ. That's the difference.
Yeah,
6 minutes is massive over an hour, isn't it?
Could he have been a cyclist?
Yeah, both could. Yeah, in a heartbeat, he'd have to cheat. But the question is, why would he?
No, of course, of course.
He could be a cyclist tomorrow.
Well, you could be a runner as well, couldn't he?
He could be a runner. He could be a swimmer. Could do what he wants. But yeah. Why would he? That's the thing.
Yeah, amazing. Very cool.
Yeah, I do the hour of power once a week, sometimes twice a week, and then I do, sad as this is, at my age, I do hill repeats on a Saturday, 5 times 3 minutes VO2 and a local climb, and then I go home, and that's it, 4 hours a week through lockdown.
You're ticking along nicely.
I'm going all right. It's hard to out-train a normal diet if you're only doing 4 hours a week.
Yeah.
I like a beer. I'm not a racer now. I like a beer. I like a curry.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Enjoy it. You've had too many years of not eating anything and training 20 hours a week, right?
Exactly. I had enough years of coming back and being concerned about eating, and those days have gone.
Yeah. Well, particularly with young kids, right? It's too much.
Massively too much. And I've young coaching clients, and I just say, listen, you've got to fuel your body. If you want your body to work right, you've got to fuel it correctly.
Yeah.
An engine's nothing without fuel, is it?
Yeah, exactly. There's a big focus on it. Too much, maybe. Where's your favourite place in the world to ride? Yorkshire Dales?
Favourite place in the world? I've got to say Yorkshire Dales.
Yeah,
around
it's
here.
Magic up there. I bloody love
it. I've been out this morning. Yeah. I've been out around Bolton Abbey this morning.
Yeah.
Mega. It's just mega. Second favourite place, Bermuda. Bermuda. I was fortunate enough to ride the Tour of Bermuda 8 times in my time. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Bermuda. I didn't even know.
There was a race called the Conyers, Dill and Pearman Tour of Bermuda. It used to be held in September, so right after the Tour of Britain, we used to fly out to Bermuda.
Fantastic.
And it was a fun race. It was serious.
Yeah.
I've raced there with likes of Health Net there. I think it was a round of the American National Crit Series at one point.
Oh, wow.
So there was US Postal there, Health Net, Jelly Belly, likes of George Hincapie, Tyler Hamilton, all those guys race with all them out there. Pink Vogels. I think God Fraser. Just who's who of riders, but kind of, it's strange. Have you been to Bermuda?
No, I haven't, no. And I'd never think of it for cycling.
Yeah, it's mega. I mean, it was Bacardi that sponsored it one year, and they just used to fly us out there, and we'd do like rock and roll crits in the dark. So you'd ride an hour crit with your heroes, win some prize money, and then straight into the bar.
On the Bacardi afterwards.
Yeah, because it's the end of the season. It's the last race of the year. So I remember one crit in particular, Hamilton High Street. I was in a team with me, Russ Downing, who was at HealthNet, Dean Downing, who was at DFL with me, and Matt Bramier, who was at DFL with me.
Brilliant.
And I think from memory, Russ won the race. And I think myself, Dean, and Matt were all in the first 10.
Fantastic.
So we just won some money, straight in the bar. Brilliant, rock and roll.
Happy days, the good old days, the good old days. I know you've got a 13-week-old and you're getting out 4 times in the night.
How things change. I wouldn't change it, but how things change.
Of course. Yeah, it does, right? It's mad. It's mad. Look, I know that you are super busy. So firstly, a massive thank you for taking the time to come and have a chat with us.
Thank you.
Just so that everyone knows, we'll put all your details and everything in the show notes. Is there anything that I've missed in terms of products and stuff like that? I'm sure I probably have been nattering away, but do get on the website. I mean, I love the overshoes and products are fantastic. I love the thought behind it and yeah, really good stuff.
Thank you very much.
Cool. Have I missed anything?
Don't think so. I think we're good.
We're good. You're a gentleman. Thank you for taking the time and we'll catch up very soon.
Thank you very much. Lovely to speak to you. Speak to you later.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to the podcast. And more importantly, don't forget to download the Unfound app and join cyclists from around the world on the hub. We'll see you on there.